Okay, so behind me over here is the Justice for Johnny protest. Actor Johnny Wactor got killed. Somebody was trying to steal his catalytic converter, and unfortunately he came out and they shot him dead. There's a lot of questions that need to be answered. They're asking for the police to do something. No arrests have been made. They're pushing to get Gascon out. They're even starting to recognize, I think, that a little bit of their industry has been decimated, right? Why did Johnny Wactor, a guy who was on 163 episodes of General Hospital, have to work as a bartender to make ends meet? Listen, ladies and gentlemen, I was going through Wactor Village the other day, and I got to tell you something. Those were the people back in the days in this industry in LA, the movie, television, entertainment industry. In Atwater Village, in Los Feliz, those people would buy houses. And I'm not talking about the actors. I'm talking about the grips, the guys who work craft service, the props people, all those people. They had an industry so strong, and with a strong industry, you have strong economics. You have more restaurants opening to provide food. You have more plumbers available to make sure that everything's good done on set. Carpenters, security guards, the whole 9 yards. Why did Johnny Wactor, in his 30-something odd years old, have to go work as a bartender to pay the bills when he was on 163 episodes of General Hospital? The industry is whacked. They need to fix it. As their industry has been destroyed, that's when the homeless number has been going up and whatnot. So that's something we're going to pay attention to. They already had the press conference. I missed it. I was late. But they're marching now, and we're going to record this, what's going on. Pasta Jardula, LA streets. Johnny Wactor, Justice for Johnny.
You know this guy?
You sit in the wagon?
No, but I know a lot of people who work with him as an actor. Small community, brother.
Gotcha, brother. I'll catch you.
Save streets! Now!
What's up, buddy?
Save streets! Now! Save streets! Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we need it?
Now!
What do we want?
Save streets!
When do we need it?
Now!
What do we want?
Save streets!
When do we need it?
Now! Justice! Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
What do we want?
Justice!
When do we want it?
Now!
Ladies and gentlemen, Craig Pasta Jardula here in City Hall. A different type of protest today, right? Like, this is my friend Jacob. I actually work with him. But he worked as an actor for as long as I know him. He's a very talented guy. But why are you out here today, Jacob?
We're out here for Justice for Johnny. Our dear friend was murdered in the streets of Los Angeles. I think that we're all here for the same reason, and this goes beyond left or right. This is about making sure that we don't have any more Johnnies, that people don't get killed for being at the wrong place at the wrong time, and we're here to make justice and honestly brings to the mayor so that we start making some changes. We revise the laws because this can't keep happening.
So I think there are a lot of people trying to figure out what's going on. We had talked about the way the industry is decimated. You go through Atwater Village, you go through Los Feliz. That used to be where the grips, the camera people used to buy houses there. But this industry has gotten up and left like NAFTA. They've gone to Canada, they've gone to Orlando. And you said yourself there's hardly any work. Wouldn't that be one of the main causes of building the industry, to make sure that people aren't desperate so we don't have any more Johnny Wactors?
Right. So I think the thing that people don't realize is that, right after the protest, I was one of the strike captains. I was over at Paramount, and we can tell you that, it just because the strikes are over doesn't mean just comes back. That's not the way the industry has been. It's the way it never will be. It's not like a factory. Yeah. People think that, when a strike is over, that all of a sudden you're all going to go back to work. But that's what happens when you have elitists and people that are 1% that are at the top, and they're making all the decisions, and it's affecting everybody's lives. So, you're talking about people being able to buy homes in Atwater Village in Los Feliz. That's a thing of the past, unfortunately, now. Yeah. People can't afford, they can barely afford to get groceries. Yeah. I can speak from experience. I'm somebody that's lucky. I'm also a sommelier. I work in the wine industry, but how I'm able to get groceries right now, is honestly going to farmers markets and trading wine for groceries. Yeah. So let that sink in for a second. That's where we're at on a financial level, not as actors and as people that are in the industry. Yeah. Johnny was an actor. Yeah. Johnny actually was coming from a bartending gig on his way home when he was shot and killed. Yeah. So this is somebody who had series regular roles, who had guest star, who had built his entire resume and still needed to make ends meet bartending. Yes. Let that sink in. This is a city that doesn't have the funds to be able to police its own people, protect them, let alone the actors and actresses that are wanting to be able to make ends meet. Yeah.
Johnny Wactor had, you were saying, 163 episodes of General Hospital. I would think, ladies and gentlemen, that means you never have to bartend a day in your life.
You would certainly think, but that's just not the reality. Yeah. And that's part of the things that we were fighting for as actors. We wanted to make sure that we could have, first off, healthcare, be able to, the thing that's always frustrating as somebody that's done 3 seasons on a television show myself, I can tell you, you have to keep reapplying for healthcare. You have to keep getting certain amount of dollars and cents in your union in order to get just the bare minimum. Yeah. And it's hard. It's very hard.
Yeah. What's crazy is that as the industry has sunk, more movies, the houses have gone out of town. Right. The homeless number has been increasing as your business has been going down because it is the built-in industry. However, today you guys are out here asking for justice for Johnny. I'm not going to ask you to speak for the organizers, whatnot, just for yourself. Yeah. What are you hoping that could have come of today? What are you hoping that this movement could have accomplished today here at City Hall?
I hope that it brings light to the fact that the streets are not safe. I mean, the spot where Johnny was even killed, the lights weren't even on. The lights weren't on. What is going on? We have street lights that are out. We have people that are getting killed over Cadillac converters. This is ridiculous. So what I'm hoping personally is that we see a change in laws. We see a place that's now going to be safe for us to be able to walk and be able to just simply come back from our bartending gigs.
Yeah. I think it has to be a combination of making sure we have enough boots in the street, but also the fact that we bring industry back where less desperation. This guy was killed over a catalytic converter.
Right, and then also we need to make a point that, we need to convict people that are equally purchasing these Cadillac converters. It's a whole system. Yeah. It's like, it's the whole thing is just sickening. So,
Jacob, thank you so much for your time and good luck, and I'll see you soon. Bye. Pastor Jardula here in the streets, City Hall. They're waiting to go inside the protesters. Justice for Johnny. About a couple hundred people. Very proud of these guys for doing so. Who am I speaking with?
My name's Kevin Suskevich.
Kevin, what are you doing here today? What is this going on behind us?
Well, basically, it's justice for Johnny. You see, all too often, it's been something where we have to hear that the criminals and the other folks who do bad, they have a story, and they do have a story, and we must help them. But we also must help the victims, and we're just not helping the victims with these laws. So it's time to focus on victims' rights and not just criminal rights. It's time. It is time.
So what do you think the solution would be, and what are you hoping to accomplish from today?
Well, I would say do your research and vote for the best DA you think is the best. And as far as Prop 47, really look into this because we have to, I believe, repeal Prop 47. Prop 47 basically says you can steal up to $950 a day or per stealing events, and it's a misdemeanor. And a lot of those misdemeanors are not being prosecuted. So if we have to change the laws or else nothing changes. We have to change the laws. Repeal Prop 47.
That's interesting. Last question. There's a lot of people who said that Johnny Wactor, is it Wactor? Yes. Okay. He's had 163 appearances on General Hospital. He was a regular actor. Why does he need to have a bartending job when you're on 163 episodes of General Hospital? That says to me that you should never be in a bar working ever again.
This is a great point. I mean, we have a lot of messed up systems in the city, but I'm mainly focusing on the justice for Johnny right now. And as far as the financial aspects, that's a whole nother rally here.
Gotcha. Well, thank you so much. Good luck with everything. I'm glad you guys made it out here today.
Thanks.
So we're still here in City Hall, and we're just reporting on what's going on. This is Justice for Johnny. They're going inside City Hall to make more of a protest, going through security. They marched through the streets. They started from where Johnny was killed the other day, less than 2 weeks ago. I'm here with Eddie Alfano, and he owes me an interview because I watch all his little skits and everything on Instagram for years. I only met him once or twice. He's friends of a friends. But, Eddie, this is a very tragic situation. First off, I'd like to just send my condolences. I'm sorry. I know this was a friend of yours. Was he?
Yeah, honestly, I think I met Johnny, but I can't remember even when. But through our friend Jeremy, I knew of Johnny, and then when I saw the post, it was I was like, oh man, I remember seeing that guy, but I can't say I was friends with him though.
But he's friends of friends. He's obviously in your community. Can you explain exactly what happened and why you're here today?
Well, he was shot outside of his car while the three guys were in the act of stealing his catalytic converter, which is like. It just feels like everyone I talk to either had their catalytic converter stolen or knows someone. I had mine stolen like 4 years ago. So it's been a real problem in LA in the last feels like 5 years. Like this spike has happened, and then he was murdered, which is just like. It just doesn't make any sense.
Here's the thing, Eddie, I wanted to talk to you about, because you've been in an industry for a while. I've been watching your videos, seeing you out there. You've been doing this. I think I saw a play of yours maybe 8 years ago. Johnny Wactor was a series regular on General Hospital. He had 163 episodes if you look up on IMDb. Why in the world would a guy who was on 163 episodes of General Hospital need to have a separate job? As your industry has been killed, the homeless number has gone up, desperation has gone up. I mean, we just had somebody killed over a catalytic converter. Can you speak more to the issue of the economics within the acting industry?
Yeah, I mean, I think to people not in the business, say 163 episodes of a soap sounds like a lot, but it's not. Like it's a good living while you're doing it. But then that, it's not enough money to like set you up where you don't have to have if that party ends, you need to get another job after. And that's not even a new thing. That's a contract role in a soap opera is not, it's not a FU money, as they say. It's going to get you through the time you're doing it.
20 years ago, I knew guys, right, when I first moved out to LA, that would do 1-2 commercials a year and have close to $1 million. They do national commercials and stuff. No, literally, I mean, not, I don't want to say $1 million, but a couple 100,000. The commercial industry, a union job was something different. Now everything is non-union. My friend did a Papa John's commercial, got paid $600.
Yeah, no, there's definitely been a shift to non-union commercials. The cost of living, I always say, like, the cost of living has like doubled and tripled while wages have kind of remained the same. It's like it feels like people were making the same money in the 90s as they are now. And yet you could buy a house in the Valley for $200,000 back then, right? Yeah. And now it's $1.2 million.
No, I drove through Atwater Village and Los Feliz the other day, and all those houses were bought by people who used to be grips, DPs, craft service. That doesn't exist anymore, Eddie.
Yeah, no, it's changed. I mean, it's a lot of things have gone up, but you really see it in the real estate. The real estate is just like, it's gotten astronomical, and I don't know what there's different theories as to what's causing that, but it's like it's hard. It's hard to own anything in Los Angeles.
And as the industry's been going down, homelessness has been going up, desperation's going up. What do you expect or hope that could come out of today with the march and you being here to support Justice for Johnny?
No, it's a great question, because I've been asking it too to everyone. Is like, what do you want? Like, what tangible thing can happen? And I was actually talking to the councilwoman that's here, and I was asked her. I was like, "What do you think can help this?" And it does seem like there's been some. It's not even changes in the law; it's that they're not enforcing existing laws, like and that certain things that used to be, felonies are now misdemeanors. It's hard, I always take everything with a grain of salt, because it's very like you gotta listen to what people say and then kind of see if it's real or not. But that being said, I've lived here in LA for 24 years, and it was getting better. Like the first 10 years here, LA, LA was coming off the 80s and 90s where there was just a lot of gang violence and things were, and then the 2000s, it was getting better and better. Like, and then something in the last like 8 years, it's been a downtrend, without like even defining it. It's just, you can see that it's getting worse than it was. It's not as safe as it was. Yeah. And, what are the usual suspects? More police presence, be tougher on crime, and all that stuff. But it's like, it just seems like we do this
over and over again.
We just do this circle. It's just like a circle. I'm old enough now to see it. When I'm like, oh, now we're doing this again.
You know what happens? Tougher on crime. You give them more money, you give them more power. They start spying on us, and they start labeling us as domestic terrorists. And that's why tough on crime is really hard. I think it's always about economics, and that's why I just wanted to see the wheels turning from people today, like yourself, from Jeremy. I understand this is like emotional, and Jeremy wants something done too as well. But it's figuring out what we need is the actual problem, and we need to have conversations about it. Eddie, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it.
Of course, man.
Where can people find you and follow your work?
It's at Eddie Alfano. Is all of my stuff.
Are you on Instagram mostly?
Yeah.
Still doing the skits and stuff?
Yeah.
Pleasure, Eddie Alfano. All right, definitely. Pasta Jardula here in City Hall. That was Eddie Alfano. They're just trying to find solutions here. They're figuring it out. They're kind of walking through the streets. This is justice for Johnny. I think they're being a little reactionary because they don't understand what the problem is. You think you have a solution to the problem, or at least acknowledging what the real problem is, right? And who am I speaking with, by the way? You can remain anonymous if you want.
My name is Namir. I'm from Long Beach. I'm not here with a solution of any kind at all, but as somebody that is of the streets and outside all the time, the problem is there's not enough police presence on the streets. There's not enough street lights out here. There's not enough food for the homeless. There's not even enough shelters open. They're closing down shelters. They're closing down psych wards. Where do you think those people are going to go? Yeah. They don't have nowhere else to go except outside. Yeah. Most of these people don't have families to even go back home to.
So what do you think is a solution? Maybe do you have one in mind that we can help fix that?
We need to open more shelters. Yeah. We need to keep the psych wards that are open active. We need to open more psych wards for the people who don't need to go to jail but still need mental and emotional help. We need more programs for the children that feel like they might have to join a gang or be a part of what's going on in the streets just because they don't got any kind of solution to their problem.
Do you think economic opportunity would help a lot with that there, where people wouldn't be as desperate, wouldn't be as so depressed, wouldn't need to take medications, maybe can get the proper health care? Do you think economics can help this problem is what I'm asking you?
Yeah, absolutely. If we got more economic help in these impoverished areas in the city, if we had more economic help in the areas in which are actually needed for the help, we wouldn't have as much crime. But when you go over to Skid Row, it looked like the governor or whoever done skipped over that whole area because the whole entire area just looks like one big trash can and there's nothing but crime and chaos over there. And then they wonder what we're supposed to do when it trickles into the city.
Thank you so much for your opinions. I really appreciate it. What was your name again?
Namir.
Namir, I'm Pasta. You take it easy. Justice for Johnny. It was about a couple hundred people march. A different march than I normally go to. But, hey, it was great joining these people and seeing them.
When I say justice, you say Johnny.